In this video, I am going to explain about base. In my previous video, I have already explained acids and the acids base concepts. I have taken chapter acid, base and salts. Acid, base, salt chapter is given in standard 10 book ICSE as well as CBSE. And this chapter is also going to be important when we will study about electrolysis. Electrolysis chapter name is given in ICSE board standard 10, whereas it is indirectly used in CBSE standard 10, and 11-12 we will study in detail. So in my previous video I have explained what is acid, how the concept of acid, base and salt came. I explained that two scientists, basically Lavoisier explained, identified acids, base and salt. He explained that if a compound has hydrogen, then it will show acidic behavior. He explained that metal oxide or metal hydroxide or ammonium hydroxide behaves as a base, whereas when an acid reacts with a base, it gives salt and water. So in that video also I have explained how will we identify that a compound is acid. By test, it is sour. And when we take an acid in water, it gives hydronium ion. Hydronium ion, that is H3O plus ion. I have explained that acid like HCl has H plus, and that H plus combined with water to give H3O plus ion. And that H3O plus ion is the hydronium ion. This hydronium ion plays an important role to define any acidic compound. After that, I have explained classification of an acid on the basis of strength, on the basis of concentration, on the basis of molecular basis, on the basis of sources. I have given different idea, and basicity also. Acids are different types. Then how can we prepare acids? Then what are the properties of acids? So in this video, I am going to explain about base. Or you can say bases. So the first question is, what is base? So we can say that the compound oxide of the metal, hydroxide of the metal or ammonium hydroxide, these are bases which reacts with hydronium ion of an acid to give salt and water. A very, very important information. First is the metallic oxide. Then metallic hydroxide. And third is ammonium hydroxide. This is ammonium hydroxide. These all are classified as base. They are classified as base because they react with, they give, suppose NaOH. So when we take NaOH in water, sodium hydroxide, it gives Na plus ion and OH minus ion. This OH minus ion is known as hydroxyl ion. And Suppose you have taken NaOH with acid. Acid is HCl. So here it gives Na plus and here it gives OH minus. HCl gives H plus and Cl minus. So this OH and H combine to give water and this Na plus and Cl minus combine to give salt. This is the first point. You take another example. Suppose ammonium hydroxide is taken with sulfuric acid. Here also ammonium and sulfate combines to give ammonium sulfate. Now here, how did I make the formula? You should know this I have made by crisscross. Ammonium ion is NH4 plus. Sulfate ion is SO4 2 minus. So the valency of sulfate will go along with ammonium and valency of ammonia will go along with sulfate. So it will be NH4 whole 2 SO4. So once we make the formula, we can balance it. Here like 2 ammonium, so we can make here 2. So 2OH, 2H combines to give water. So in this way we can say that bases are those compounds which gives hydroxyl ion and this hydroxyl ion combines with H plus ion of an acid to give water and salt. So you can say that base reacts with acid to give salt and water. So mind it, actually what is happening here? Here hydronium ion or H plus ion of an acid combines with OH minus of a base to give water. So this is also an example of neutralization reaction that we study in different types of chemical reaction. Here one thing I want to say that there are some exceptions also. I have already said that metallic oxides are base. Metallic hydroxides are base. Ammonium hydroxides is also a base. So, but here one compound like lead oxide, we can say Pb4 oxide. It is oxide, but we cannot keep it in a category of base. Very, very important point, and this is an exception. Why? Because it reacts with acid. Suppose acid I have selected HCl. It gives salt, it gives water, and apart from that, chlorine gas is also released. That's why it is not kept in a category of, suppose it is balanced, 4HCl. This is balanced. So lead oxide or lead 4 oxide is a base. This is an exceptional point. You must remember that metallic oxides are base, but this lead oxide, lead 4 oxide is not kept in a category of base because it gives chlorine gas as the product along with salt and water. So now the question is properties, physical properties of a base. Here I will do comparison between acids and base. This is a best technique to memorize the concept. Memorize the concept. Acid, it gives H3O plus ion, hydronium ion. Base gives OH minus ion in water. If you take test of an acid, so acid is sour in taste, whereas bases are bitter in taste. Bitter in taste. We define acid in terms of basicity. I will explain that points. In acid I have already explained, but in base also I will go in detail. We define acid in terms of basicity of a acid, whereas base, acidity of a base. So when we see the physical properties of the base, then we find that bases are bitter, whereas acids are sour. After that, indicators, very important. Indicators are the compound which gives idea whether the substances we have taken are acids or base or neutral compound. So we can take natural indicators also, we can take artificial indicators also. In lab we use litmus paper, we use methyl orange, and we use phenolphthalein. These three indicators we use. One more indicator, pH, I will explain later on. First let me explain about litmus paper. So litmus paper, there are two types of litmus paper. One is blue, another is red. So when acid is passed through blue litmus paper, it will turn to red. Whereas when bases are passed with red litmus paper, it will turn to blue. It will convert red litmus paper to blue. Very important information. If we take red litmus paper and we pass acid, no changes. But if we take blue litmus and pass acid, it turns red. So acid turns blue litmus to red and bases turn red litmus to blue. Then methyl orange in another indicator. Methyl orange, when we take in acid, it turns to pink. Acid gives pink color, whereas when we use methyl orange, it turns base to yellow. Very important information. Indicators also gives idea. Here I am explaining physical property. Physical properties are those properties which can be identified by its external feature, its color, its height, its length. That is external feature. With the help of external feature we can, its taste, its smell. So with the help of this feature, if we identify, then it is a physical property. Whereas if we are performing chemical reaction, if we are explaining a compound with the help of reaction, with the help of changes chemically, that is called chemical properties. So physically, acids are identified on the basis of test. This is the test. This is the indicators. We are going to use indicators. This is indicators. So litmus paper, first indicator is litmus paper, second is the methyl orange, and the last is phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein. Acid remains colorless. It has no effect on phenolphthalein, whereas when we pass phenolphthalein through a base, it will turn to pink. So physically, we can categorize acids and base in the different method. Next is the classification of an acids. Next is the classification of an acids. Here one thing I want to explain, very important information I have not given, that is I have explained base, and there is one category of base, that is alkali. So first let me explain alkali and then I will say. So we can take example of sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, copper hydroxide, iron, ferric hydroxide. Here these four compounds are base, and it has been given another name, that is alkali. and these are only base. These two are base, not alkali. So we should know that some bases are alkali, some bases are not alkali. What are the criteria, what are the bases on which we categorize a given compound as a base or alkali? So we can say that these four are alkali because they gives water soluble base. Water soluble base. That means if bases are soluble in water, then we can say it is an alkali. And if the bases are not soluble, so we can say water insoluble base. Water insoluble base, then it is called base, not alkali. Again, we categorize sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, these two as a strong base. So here one thing I have used water soluble. That means if any compound is soluble in water, then it will ionize in water. So if we take KOH and NaOH, then it is a strong base, it is a strong alkali. We can say it is a strong alkali. It means it is completely ionized in water. These two compounds completely ionize in water to give iron, whereas this is weak alkalis. Calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxides are weak alkalis because they partially ionize, here strongly, or you can say fully ionized in water, and here partially ionized. So we can say that bases are, those bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Alkalis which are completely ionized in water, ionizable in water, they are called strong alkalis, and those alkalis which are partially ionized in water, they are called weak alkalis. So alkalis are an exceptional case. So we can say that all alkalis are base. All alkalis are base because they give hydronium ion. Hydroxyl ion. All alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkalis. Here, one important information that all alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkali. Only those bases are alkali which are soluble in water. So these are the information that I have not given here. So this is important information I have given, that what is the criteria to classify base, then how will we physically identify that given compound is base physically, and what is the alkali and differences between base. Now next is the classification of the base. Very, very important classification. How will we classify bases? So this I'll explain. The way I have classified acids, same way we have to classify base also. So that is important information, and this is very, very important part for the other chapters also. I have already explained that we will study electrolysis, and when we will study electrolysis, this ionization is going to be very, very important for us. So I'm going to explain about classification of base. How will we classify base? So first is the classification of bases. The first is on the basis of strength. Strong base and weak base. Second, on the basis of basicity. Acidity. And the last is, these two classification is given in the book. NaOH, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, they are considered as a strong base because they completely ionize in water to give hydroxyl ion. So strong base are those bases which completely ionized in its aqueous form. When I will explain salt, on that type I will explain that strong base reacts with a strong acid to give neutral salt. That the salt is neither acidic nor basic. Whereas when we are going to take weak acid or weak base, then in this case we can get either acidic or basic salt. So weak base, it is partially ionized. Here we can say partially ionized in its aqueous form. Like you can say FeOH whole 3, ZnOH whole 2, here NaOH and QOH. On the basis of acidity, it is classified into monoacidic, very very important, then monobasic, diacidic, triacidic. So here we have to understand that we need to know that what do you mean by acidity, or in acid we have used the word basicity. So acidity means how many OH ion will produce to react with hydronium ion of an acid. What I want to say, suppose I have taken NaOH. So here NaOH will produce one OH minus ion. So how many hydroxyl ion will produce to react with one molecule of hydronium ion to give salt and water? So if I react this NaOH with HCl, or if I react this NaOH with H2SO4, here NaOH with H3PO4, then here we can say this is monoacidic, this is monobasic. Here this is monoacidic, but it is dibasic. So here the reaction will be NaHSO4 plus H2O. Here NaH2PO4 plus H2O. But here complete utilization takes place NaCl plus H2O. That means if we take monoacidic base and monobasic acid, then complete utilization we get neutral salt. So we can say acidity means how many hydroxyl ion produce. This is very very important information. How many OH minus ion will produce to react with an acid. So you can categorize monoacidic means one replaceable OH group, one ionizable OH group. So NaOH, group 1 alkali, Group 1 groups, hydroxide of group 1 are categorized as monoacidic. Then hydroxide of group 2, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, zinc hydroxide, these are categorized as diacidic. And triacidic you can take ferric hydroxide or iron hydroxides. So this is the classification on the basis of acidity, monoacidic, diacidic and triacidic base. After that we have to discuss, then here one thing I want to explain. This is very little bit confusing part. So here just I want to explain one thing, or we can say I want to categorize, compare. This is important information. I just want to compare this. Just I want to compare this. Suppose here, first is the basicity of an acid, and second is the acidity of a base. It is highly confusing. The student gets confused that where we have to apply basicity and where we have to apply acidity. So basicity what we need to apply when we are going to use acid. Just reciprocal, acid, basicity, base, acidity. Here we are going to use with a base. First point, don't get confused. Basicity what we use with a acids. Whereas acidity of a base we use with a base. Second thing is that here, how many replaceable hydrogen, replaceable H atom or H plus ion. If one, it is monobasic. If two, dibasic. If three, tribasic. Here, how many replaceable or ionizable? How many ionizable? OH minus ion, that is hydroxyl ion. So if one hydroxyl ions are produced, it is monoacidic. If two hydroxyl ions are produced, it is bi or diacidic, or whereas three, triacidic. So in this way, we can categorize the given compounds as a basicity or the acidity of a given compounds. After that, I have to explain preparation of an acid. This is very important part because students get confused in the reaction part. Chemistry is difficult from the reaction points of view, where we have to make which type of compound. This is confusing, little bit, it creates confusion among the students. So you have to be very, you have to know what is the important points so we can define it easily. So here one by one I will explain all the points. Preparation of a base. How can we prepare base? Needs space. So the first method is the from metal and oxygen, that is reaction of metal with oxygen. Second is the metal oxide and water, reaction of metal oxide and water. Third is the double decomposition reaction or metal with water. Here, second is the metal with water. Third is the metal oxide with water. Fourth is the double decomposition. Double decomposition method. Fifth is the action of oxygen and metal sulfide. Metal sulfide react with oxygen. Sixth is the decomposition of salt. And the last one is the decomposition of metal nitrate. Decomposition of metal nitrate. So one by one we will discuss this, that how can we prepare, what happens if a metal reacts with oxygen gas. When we react metal, suppose you take sodium or you can take any oxygen, it gives sodium oxide. And I have already explained that metal oxides are base. Here it is base as well as alkali also. You can take metal and you take water. So when react with metal, then it gives metal oxide and plus hydrogen gas. This is important information. Just we need to compare. If a metal, here just I am comparing, reacts with acid, then here also hydrogen gas and salt is produced. Metal reacts with acids to give salt and hydrogen gas. But if we react metal with water, it gives oxide, that is base and hydrogen. Next is the metal oxide, suppose, and water, it gives metal hydroxide. Next is the double decomposition method. Suppose we have taken FeCl3 plus NaOH, ferric chloride and sodium hydroxide. Here the reaction will be, the reagent will be NaCl and an insoluble precipitate will develop. This is dirty green color. This is very, very important information. Double decomposition. Here heavy metallic salts are taken with base. In this case, insoluble hydroxides are produced. For example, if we take zinc chloride with NaOH, then it gives gelatinous white precipitates. Very, very important. Gelatinous white precipitate. Very, very important. There is one more important chapter in standard 10 ICSE board. Directly we will use analytical chemistry. In that chemistry we will focus, this is the important part, the different colors of the salts or hydroxides, and indirectly it is going to be used in CBSE. Suppose copper chloride is taken, NaOH, then it gives blue color precipitate. Blue precipitate and all are insoluble. So we can say that this is double decomposition method is very, very important. Then metal sulfide, you can take zinc sulfide, react with oxygen, it gives zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide gas. Here, metal nitrate. Decomposition of salt is, suppose we have taken calcium carbonate. It is a salt, but it is decomposed. It gives oxide plus carbon dioxide gas. So this is also a method to preparation of a base. Decomposition of metal nitrate. Suppose copper nitrate. This is the compound, or calcium nitrate. It gives calcium oxide plus nitrogen dioxide gas plus oxygen. This is important because metal nitrate decomposed to give oxide, nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen, but two metal nitrate, potassium nitrate and sodium nitrate, they are stable. They will not decompose to give oxide and nitrogen dioxide gas. So these are the information related with the preparation of metal oxides. Now we have to discuss chemical properties of the metals, chemical properties of the bases. How will bases react with, first example, with CO2. What happens if our bases are taken with, suppose sodium hydroxide is taken with CO2, it gives carbonate plus here water. Second is reaction with acid. Suppose we have taken calcium hydroxide with acid, HCl. It gives CaCl2 plus H2, acid and base, salt and water. Third one is ammonium salt. With ammonium salt, first is the with reaction with carbon dioxide. Second is reaction with acid. First with carbon dioxide, second with acids. Third with ammonium salt. Ammonium salt reaction is very, very important because it is a test of ammonia. When ammonium salt is treated with any base, you can take sodium hydroxide. Then it gives NaCl plus ammonia gas plus H2. In chemistry, we will identify some compounds on the basis of smell or on the basis of some observation like hydrogen gas, puff sound produce, CO2 gas, it turns lime water milky, rotten egg smell, we get some compound hydrogen sulfide, pungent smell, ammonia gas. So here this is the chemical properties of the bases, but this reaction again we need to use how will we identify a given compound. How will you identify CO2 gas evolve? How will we identify ammonia gas evolve? How will we identify hydrogen gas evolve? What is the test of hydrogen? So we can say that if a metal is reacted with acids, then a colorless, odorless gas will produce that will give pop sound. This is a test of hydrogen. How will it test CO2? When a given compound produces a gas, that gas turns lime water milky. It is a test of carbon dioxide. Ammonia test, when bases are reacted with a given compound, pungent smelling is produced in the test of ammonia. So one way these reactions are used as a properties of the bases. In another way, these reactions are also gives idea, particularly, especially identification of a gas, identification of ammonia, identification of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, HCl gas, nitrogen dioxide gas, hydrogen sulfide gas. So these are the information. Next is the with salt of heavy metal. Suppose we take salts of heavy metal. Suppose copper sulfate I have taken. When copper sulfate is reacted with base, then here it gives Na2SO4 and insoluble precipitate. This is blue color precipitate. Next reaction is, so these are the information, these are the chemical properties that we use for the bases. So the first is what will happen when bases are treated with carbon dioxide, what will happen when bases are treated with HCl, with the ammonium salt, with the insoluble salt, metallic salts. So these are the information that we have got about the bases. So the preparation part of the bases, a reaction part of the bases, then its classification part, then one more uses. Uses also important for the bases, that is where we use, like for example, let's say I have explained that tartaric acid, citric acids, the acids we are using from different types, different compounds we extract from acids. For example, from vinegar we use acetic acids, from lemon we use citric acids. So some acids give some compounds. In the same way, some bases also give some compounds. So we have to know that basis. And then I will discuss some question that is given in ICSE book and that is also in CBSE, and that questions are going to be helpful for you in the board exam because you will get question based on that part. So first let me explain the uses, how will we use these bases, and then I will discuss the question related with this part. So the first thing that we have to you have to understand the uses of the bases. That is going to be important for you because in ICSE board you know that there are two patterns of examination, there are two types of question, section 1 and section B. In section A you will get objective questions, MCQ type question, and that type questions we will use. In that type of part we can use such type of question. So first is the use of NaOH. Sodium hydroxide is used in a soap. I have written that I have got the information, collected the information. Potassium hydroxide, KOH, it is used in a salt, soap and batteries. Calcium hydroxide, this is used in bleaching powder. Then magnesium hydroxide, it is used in anti-acid, very important, very important, anti-acid to avoid acidity. Aluminum hydroxide we use in fire extinguisher, it is foaming agent in fire extinguisher. Then ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH. This removes stains, grease stain on clothes or from the clothes. And one is calcium oxide. This is drying agents. So these are the information that I have got. We have collected from for different types of bases. Now, what are the important questions that we can get from this part? This is very, very important. First question is what do you understand by alkali? I have already explained. Water soluble base are known as alkali. Give two examples of a strong alkali: sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and weak alkali: ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. What is differences between alkali and a base? You can say alkali is a water soluble base where bases are the compound which gives hydroxyl ion. And alkali and a metal hydroxide, same differences. Metal hydroxide gives hydroxyl ion, where alkali is soluble in water. Then define in terms of ionization of acids and alkali. Acid gives hydronium ion, whereas alkali gives hydroxyl ion. Then name the ions furnished by bases in solution. What type of ion furnished by bases in solution? Bases always gives OH minus ion. Then weak alkali also gives OH minus ion. Acid gives H3O plus ion. After that, some questions are given that is very, very important. HCl, HNO3, C2H5OH, C6H12O6, that is hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, ethanol and glucose all contain hydrogen, but only hydrochloric acid and nitric acids are acid. This is very, very important information. This is ethanol. This is glucose. Here also hydrogen is there according to Lavoisier. Compound has hydrogen is acid, but this is not an acid. Why? But HCl is an acid. HNO3 are acid. Why these are acid? Because it gives H plus ion, or you can say hydronium ion. There is another word we use when I will discuss electrolysis. I will explain. This is called electrolytes. Very, very important information. Electrolytes are those compounds which gives ion in its aqueous form. But this compound, ethanol and glucose, they are non-electrolytes. So non-electrolytes cannot behave electrolytes as an acid, whereas electrolytes are the compound which gives hydronium ion. So we can say that these two compounds are acid because they give hydronium ion. These two compounds are non-electrolytes. They never give hydronium ion, so they are not an acid. Then dry HCl does not change the color of dry litmus paper. Why? Very, very important. I said that HCl is an acid and it turns blue litmus red. But when we use dry HCl gas, hydrogen chloride gas, there is no hydronium ion. Separation of H plus ion and Cl minus ion not takes place. But when we dissolve this dry HCl in water, there is another chapter we have to study in standard 10 standard 10 ICAC, hydrochloric acid. Here we have to distinguish HCl gas and HCl acids. So when we take it in water aqueous form, this HCl gas dissolve in water and gives hydronium ion. So we can say dry HCl is not a conductor. Dry HCl gas cannot change the litmus paper because no hydronium ions are produced. So these are the information. One more thing also I want to explain that is very, very important. I have explained indicators, and to explain indicators I have taken 3 examples. One is the litmus paper. Second is the methyl orange. a chemical that we use in lab, and third is the phenolphthalein. But there is an universal indicator, that is pH paper, very very important. pH paper gives idea, this pH paper we use to test acidity or basic nature of a given salt. And how will we define it? It is negative logarithm base 10 of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion concentration. We can write minus log to the base 10 H plus ion. This application part you have to use in standard 11-12, but here you have to know, we have to find with the help of pH, with the help of pH value, we have to identify that whether the compound is acidic or base. So if we see the concept of this pH comes from H plus, so water is a weak electrolytes. Water is a weak electrolyte. It partially dissociates to give H plus ion and OH minus ion, and in water H plus ion concentration is equal to, that is H plus ion is equal to OH minus ion is equal to 10 to the power minus 7. So we can say there is a word Kw, that is ionic product of water. But this part we have to study in standard 11-12, but just an information I am giving you. Ionic product. So what is ionic product of water? That is 10 to the power minus 14. Its unit SI unit. If we find the pH of 10 to the power minus 7, then we will get, suppose here we will put this formula, minus log 10, here 10 to the power minus 7, it will become 7 log 10. Log 10 value is 1, so it is 7. So here pH 7 indicates neutral behavior. Suppose here I am using this 7 indicates neutral behavior. If we go beyond 7, this is more basic, or you can say basic nature. That is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then 13, then 14, 15, so on. This is the basic part. And here 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. This is acidic. But I want to say that if two acids, one pH is 4 and another pH is 5, which one is more? 4 is the more acidic. Lower the value of pH, very important information. Acidity inversely proportional to pH. Lower the value of pH, stronger the acidity. Whereas basicity or acid property, you can say acidic property. Acidic property or basic property. Basic property is directly proportional to pH. Higher the value of pH, higher will the basic. So if 12 and 13, if two compounds, one has pH base 12, one is 13. So 13 is more basic. So in this way we will discuss this topic. In the next class I will explain another part. Thank you.